bring Mark Sanchez into the conversation. He called the game yesterday, does a great job, and also kind enough to take a few minutes with us today, despite having 6-month-old twins. Oh, my gosh. Mark, good morning. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Good morning. We got the morning feed out of the way. We're in the clear. Let's do this. Let's talk some ball.
So you watched this game yesterday. Was this a case where the better team won? I know sometimes you have those conversations like, hey, who was the better team regardless of score? Did you think the Seahawks were the better team yesterday?
You know what? I said at one point on the broadcast, this is going to be whatever team figures it out is going to look back in, November, December at this game, playing down players in the secondary, losing players during the game. And it's just one of those games you got to grind it out, steal a win in September that you'll be thankful for later on. So you're not chasing one of those wins at the end of the season. It's hard to say who's a better team because both of them showed flashes. They came out hot, and then both offenses sputtered. The defenses looked good for a minute. And then just the momentum swing of the interception, in the end zone and from Rodgers. And then, Sam Darnold leads them on an incredible drive. Then the kickoff, and then they seal it with another really good drive. They just took the game over. And it was going to go one way or the other. And the Seahawks just grabbed it and stole it and never looked back. It was it's hard to say who's better, though.
Mm-hmm. Your biggest takeaway, Mark, from your production meeting with the Seahawks that either played out the way you thought it would after that meeting or was a kind of a turn from maybe what you anticipated and from what you heard in that production meeting?
Well, talking to Clint Kubiak, he was adamant about sticking to the run game. And I was really impressed that they didn't abandon it. And I think in years past, he might have. I was impressed with him as a coordinator. I thought the sequencing of plays, especially down the stretch, was exactly where he wanted to be, and it's easy to get off track in an environment like that. When you feel the heat, you feel the fans, that place starts rocking, your guys aren't running it like you want to, you think, okay, well, let's just throw it around a little bit. So that I was impressed with. And then talking with Coach McDonald, he just talked about, guys being down in the secondary. He goes, we're going to find out who we are. We're going to find out our depth. We're going to find out, can guys handle this load? And where's Reek Woolen? How's he going to play tomorrow? Him and DK, he's got to erase him tomorrow. And I thought he did an excellent job. He played a pretty good game and much better than week one. You could tell it was a little different attitude, a little different effort. And he turned it up. And then the other one was Kenneth Walker. I thought Charbonnet, he's been more available, and just healthy. He's a complete back. And so I thought he was going to kind of take over that running back spot. And once Walker got hot, they just rode the hot hand. So those were some of my takeaways, but an impressive way to go steal one on the road. They just kind of outlasted the Steelers, really.
Mark, as you might imagine, there's a lot of interest in how DK Metcalf would do yesterday here in Seattle after a somewhat controversial decision to move on in the offseason. I was a big fan of that and really wanted them to do it because I think they want to be a complementary team, and I think it's hard to do when you draft a guy in the first round in JSN and then try to pay DK Metcalf. I think it's really hard to then invest where you got to invest. But what did they do? I mean, he didn't do a whole lot yesterday outside of the touchdown. How did they shut him down?
Well, I think, they did an excellent job of making sure they had help over the top almost the entire game. And if he was going to get anything, it was going to be underneath. They're not going to give him stuff over the top where he can go use his size and speed and all that and just go catch jump balls one-on-one. So they helped Job a ton. They even helped Woolen a ton over the top on DK. And then they tried to move him to the slot. And they had to get physical with him in the slot. I mean, he didn't have much production, and it was similar to week one when he played at the Jets. They had to manufacture production for him, throw him screens, throw him bubbles, throw him the quick now passes where you just stand there at the line of scrimmage and utilize the space. But, he had a couple drops, and so, the Seahawks are feeling pretty good. about the move they made with DK right now.
Hey, you mentioned a word there that's become a bit of a buzzword when I'm listening to broadcasts now that I didn't hear as much 10 years ago, and that buzzword is sequencing. You said that Clint Kubiak did a really good job of sequencing. Can you kind of inform our audience what that means from your perspective?
Well, I think it's when you're calling plays, not just that specific play, but thinking a couple plays ahead, a couple drives ahead. And, the deep play action stuff, the very first drive of the game, I loved the way they came out of the blocks. And then they knew they were going to get man-to-man. They set up Njigba and Horton on the deep crossers, blocked them up with everybody else. And, they went after two premier corners in this league with Slay and Jalen Ramsey, and just said, go use your speed, run away. And Horton ended up being the guy. That play, this, Brock, as a quarterback. I mean, you got two guys in the route. You should be protected. Give a really good play fake, low pad level up front, and then just lollipop one, whoever you think is coming open in that exchange. Whoever wins the crisscross, just take them and throw it to a pylon. And Sam executed it perfectly, but it was set up with some of those interior runs. And I thought they did a good job of kind of getting away from some of those perimeter runs and continued up the middle with Walker, and then sprinkled in the one that went for the touchdown, the same side toss out of shotgun. I thought that was money. And I really do think Walker's more of your perimeter guy. He's just got that extra burst and another gear where Charbonnet, he's the complete back. He can run the rock, he can catch the ball, and most importantly, he's excellent in pass pro, and he can protect your quarterback. So I think Clint keeps all those things in mind and really was on his game, especially late yesterday.
You can't do any of those things you just said without the offensive line protecting, opening up holes. It's been such a problem here for so long. What did you make of the way the offensive line for the Seahawks looked yesterday?
Well, listen, they got to secure those edges. I know Lucas, he was getting a ton of heat for the first week and getting pushed back into Sam on the last play of the game and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Cross and Lucas have to be anchors at the edge. And then interior-wise, we saw Olu come in at center, but Sundell seemed to have beat him out during training camp. And it's only his second year out of North Dakota State, and then his buddy Gray is right next to him at guard, and then we got Bradford on the other side. So it's a really young group, those interior three, but going on the road like that against Cam Hayward, against TJ Watt, Highsmith was in there for a little bit, but that's a really good front. Patrick Queen, that guy can ruin your day. And if Hayward gets a hold of two linemen and makes the picture clean for Patrick Queen, he can run and hit. That's his job. And they were just trying back and forth to kind of muddy up those lanes, distort the read for the backers, and I thought they did a pretty good job. I'm guessing they're going to grade out pretty high, and even in pass pro, I thought they were lights out for such a young group on the road. That's a really good test for groups like that. Like you look at teams like Green Bay, for instance, that's the youngest team in the league, but they've been doing it for 3 years together. They got playoff experience together. They're kind of like that little league baseball team that started in 7th grade and now they're in high school, and they just know everybody. They know everything they're doing. They know how to travel. They know how to play at home. They just had time to kind of marinate together, and I think that's where it's trending in Seattle. I don't know if it's instant success, but I do think this group is going to have some success as the season goes on and then in the next couple of years.
You like
Mark,
that Abe Lucas neck roll?
Oh, that's a big neck roll.
I think he looks like RoboCop out there or something, man. I was like, whoa. Looks like he's
Get him an old
19
cowboy
tall.
collar or something. That looked pretty good.
I know. Like
One
the
thing-
old Brian Cox. Remember Brian Cox? He used to have that big neck
Big piece
plate
of
and
wood.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
terrifying.
That's funny.
One thing in this league, Mark, and you call it every week, and you played for a long time in it, it's hard to be different than everybody else, right? A lot of widgets are made in very similar ways. Maybe there's some tweak to scheme here, tweak there. But I'll say this, with Seattle and Darnold being under center 60% of the snaps yesterday, it just looked and felt different. You commented on it a few times during the game, now kind of in retrospect. How much different is it? And what does that do to a defense when Sam Darnold is under center 60% of the snaps yesterday?
Well, it keeps you true to your run game identity. And that's what Kubiak wants to be. That's what he envisions this offense as being. But as soon as you go in the gun, your run game changes. It's not quite as physical. It's a little more finesse. And, I mean, I can't remember. It's got to be 5+ years since I've seen a quarterback go under center with a 5-step drop, no play fake, hit his back foot, and throw like intermediate or quick game or 3 steps from under center. I mean, that was wild. Like
West right 322 Y stick. West right 322 Y stick.
Yeah. I mean, these were like staples. These were day one installs for me in college and early in the NFL. And I found out quickly that, you know, on third down, you better get your ass back in gun because double A's in under center are no joke. The guards are looking at you like, dude, what are you doing? Get away from me. Back up. You know, it makes their life so hard. So it was a treat, a little bit of a flashback. And, you know, it's kind of like bell-bottom jeans or, you know, some of these trends that come back, you're just like, oh, okay, we're doing that again. All right, sweet.
Will you see a better block this season than the one Ouzts laid on 93 Blast on the ISO play where he detonates one linebacker like a bowling pin into Patrick Queen and knocks him down?
I mean, he was just a human wrecking ball. That was awesome. I felt like John Madden. I was like, boom, Herbig, boom. Whoever was next, I think it was Queen.
Yes.
I was like, dude, this guy's unbelievable.
Talk about throwback.
That was incredible.
Tell us about Rear View here before you got to go. What is the show? What are you doing? What do we need to know about it?
Yeah, so basically we'll come out with an episode tomorrow. We're talking to Jared Goff today about playing against his old coordinator. They thumped him in Detroit yesterday. But basically, it's a show for, you know, we'll get non-quarterbacks on there at some point, but it's a quarterback-centric kind of focus. And the idea is for these guys to give their immediate thoughts after the game that doesn't feel like a podium presser, that doesn't feel like a bunch of coach speak and cliches, something a little more intimate. And, you know, I'm using my relationships and giving these guys a platform to explain exactly what's going on in their head and give the fans a unique and direct access to their perspective. So that's the goal of it. And I get to do it with my best friend, Scotty McKnight. And, you know, we've been buds for a long time. So we're talking to Jared Goff today at like 1:00, and then it'll be out tomorrow. So I'm excited for that one.
Awesome. Where do people find it?
This will be on all the Fox social channels. It's on NFL on Fox presents Rear View, and it'll be on my social media at Mark_Sanchez, and then on the Fox app and the Fox website.
Pretty good. Thanks, man. We appreciate it. We talked to Adam Amin on, Thursday, right, Brock? And then get a chance to talk to Mark today. I love listening to you guys. I think you guys have one of the truly best crews out there. I love listening to the way you guys call a game. It's fun, it's loose, and super enjoyable. And just want to say thanks. Thanks for popping on today.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Happy to do it anytime we got the Hawks. Love talking to you guys.